A question each child gets at least once growing up is this: so who do you want to be when you grow up? An artist. Have you ever heard anyone reply this before? I have not, but if some child answers me this, I would say, you are already. This podcast is a little different from podcasts you know. This podcast, you can participate. You can go to our website and record an audio up to 5 minutes and upload it. Give a small lecture, comment on what was said previously. Share your vision for general semantics. You can read something, sing if you want, play music if you want. Everything is possible. So I want everybody to participate. In this episode of the podcast, we look into workplace culture and career path of a person. How to keep your sanity in a hot work environments and stay productive without burning out. Who is responsible for conflicts at work, you or your colleagues? This and more in this episode. Our own beliefs about career shoulds and musts, together with parental programming, play a role in making career choices. We have formed opinions about some professions being good, dream jobs, and others being not so good, shitty jobs. But rigidly sticking to old career goals can keep us from making changes that are required in order for us to progress. 200 years ago, before there was an alarm clock invented, there was a human alarm clock, a knocker-upper.
Through cobbled streets, so cold and damp, the knocker-upper man goes creeping.
People would hire knocker-uppers to tap on their windows with a long pole to wake them up.
Tap, tapping at the window pane to wake the town from sleeping.
Now imagine if some person has a fixed belief that he is a knocker-upper and refuses to see himself as anything but a knocker-upper. This person will be in trouble when someone invents an alarm clock. Once you get a job that you want, it's important that you keep it. First weeks at new workplace produce high dopamine levels. We are excited about learning new things, meeting new people, etc. But then comes the first conflict, and stress pushes dopamine levels out.
What do you mean the Giants are going to win? I can't find nothing around this place. Where do you put them shoes?
Should I stay or should I go? How often do we read those brave stories of people leaving all benefits behind and quit? Cancel culture, the 21st century way of dealing with problems. Or have we just become too sensitive? A general semanticist would point you to higher and lower centers of the brain. Lower centers are closer to reality. This is a domain of senses. Higher centers, on the other hand, are simple and complex thinking. If you are new to a workplace, you are sure to experience an overload on lower centers because your higher centers are not developed yet and can't take all the information. But if you stay in a workplace long enough for these higher centers to develop, you'll notice that you are less affected by everyday conflict. So you have been working in this company for a while now, and it's getting boring. You decide that changing a workplace is what you want now. But your skills are out of date for today's job market. What should you do? First, study. Second, identify transferable job skills. Career advisor Carol Kancher suggests. Kancher categorized transferable job skills into big groups: communication, humanitarian, creative, organizational, analytical, technical. Remember, these are not skills. They are categories of skills. I'm not good at communication, but I speak 4 foreign languages, and I know how to write articles, so maybe I know something about communication after all. The actual skills for communication are writing, editing, researching, speaking, translating, interviewing, etc. The actual skills for analytical are analyzing, synthesizing, conceptualizing, categorizing, problem solving, researching, observing. So generalization here acts like a bridge between old and new, and using these bridges we transport goods, in this case, job skills. Martin H. Levinson, a longtime member of General Semantics in his case study General Semantics and Worker Supervision, published Journal Etc. Volume 73, Number 3, July 2016, suggests 5 tips for workers to stay sane at insane workplaces. First, accepting change. Change is unavoidable. Both expecting change and accepting change allows for easier handling of change when it comes. It's important to understand that some change bring problems, but some bring opportunity. So if you find yourself avoiding change, think of how it may actually be an opportunity you have been waiting for. Second, building realistic expectations at work is important. Realistic expectations help us avoid burnouts and IFD disease. IFD translates as idealization, leading to frustration, leading to demoralization. Instead of focusing on successful career, try to define what success actually means to you. Is it the amount of money you want to get? Or maybe all you need is prestige? Third, stress is mobilization of body's natural resources to handle out of ordinary situations. There are 2 types of stress, productive and destructive. Productive stress lets you grow, and destructive puts you down. An example of productive stress would be sports. Running 100-kilometer marathon feels like dying, but in the end, if you didn't, then you come out stronger. A situation with too little stress often fails to stimulate performance, but equally too much stress can interfere with performance. Identifying your stress tolerance will help you cope with stressful situations. Fourth, effective decision making. General semanticists see scientific thinking as generalized method for problem solving and advises use of scientific methods where possible. Scientific method could be summarized as questioning truth, making observations, formulating hypotheses, experimenting, analyzing and summarizing data, drawing conclusions. In science, opinions matter less than facts, and so it's important to not confuse these. I don't know, let's see. It's a mantra of any scientific thinker. Fifth, productive assumptions lead to productive outcomes. Unproductive assumptions lead to unproductive outcomes. One could assume, according to Lewis, that he or she must drop whatever he is doing at work and immediately attend any coworker that is asking for help. This may feel like the right thing to do, but on the big picture, this greenlights interruption culture at work and leads to tasks unfinished. Instead of attending to each and every request for help, Lewis suggests differentiating between emergencies and non-emergencies. That's it for this episode. How we behave in workplace is important. Wherever there is conflict, we tend to react more emotionally and jump to conclusions. General semantics teaches us a way to step back and see a bigger picture.
Through cobbled streets, so cold and damp, the knocker of a man goes creeping, tapping at the window pane to wake the town from sleeping. And he says, "Hear thee up and stir the sound, the factory hooter's blowing, so get up from your nice warm bed, to work you must be going." Day in, day out, they hear about the snow and rain are falling. You'd hear his clogs along the street, you'd hear his voice a-calling, and he says, "Hear thee up and stir the sound, the factory hooter's blowing, so get up from your nice warm bed, to work you must be going." Early rising working folk, the knocker up is called, they heed it. Now time goes by, old customs die, now he is no there's no more. Hear the up and sturdy sound, the factory hooter's blowing. So get up from your nice warm bed, to work you must be going. Through streets of quiet suburbia, the knocker-upper's ghost goes creeping. Now listening to the ringing sounds that wake the town from sleeping. And he says, hear the up and sturdy sound, the factory hooter's blowing. So get up from your nice warm bed, to work you must be going. So get up from your nice warm bed,